My name is Mark Bodnar. I'm the founder of Plan to Account, and we specialize in freeing up trapped assets for our clients, which are usually hospitals or big physician groups. What makes us unique in the industry is that we're the only one that does a 100% audit of every single bill and payment going back 5 years or more. That gives you a foundation to work from when you try and free up the assets that a client has. Say it's old revenue that they zeroed out, so we recover money. And because it's zeroed out dollars, it's found money. So it's really truly found. They had walked away from it. To do that, we have to re-engineer their other trapped asset, which is the data. Every hospital or big physician group keeps all their old data going way back many, many years. They never really use it, and if they put in a new system, they tend to look forward rather than backwards. They walk away from the old data. So we take that old data and basically re-engineer it and use it to increase recoveries. And more importantly in the recoveries is the block of reports that we produce that allow them to make better decisions going forward. Because it truly is a 100% re-adjudication of every single claim that they had. It can be millions sometimes for a facility. The fact that we're able to break filing limits, and that is where there may be a 6-month filing limit with a payer or a year filing limit. We're also able to break agreements. Typically, a hospital will sign off with a payer at the end of the year or end of 2 years. Everything going back, we both agree to walk away from. We're positioned uniquely in the industry to break those filing limits and agreements. The way we do it, we capture 3 different data elements. We bring in all the data and we re-adjudicate it. So we act like we're the payer. So we repay it on our side without even looking at what the payer paid. Then we turn around and we calculate and figure out what our client was estimating for that claim. You know, what did their system think they would get paid for that claim? The third data element that we come up with, which makes us unique, is what we've done on our side is the third data element that we come up with, we call that our business intelligence engine. And we've captured, I was 20 years on the payer side and or insurance company side, and about 7 years now on the hospital side. So in that time frame, we've captured all of the problems or mispays from the payers, and it's better than 100 million claims. It's massive, the database that we have. So every time we ran across a claim incorrectly paid from a payer, we kept the logic, not the patient information and the HIPAA information, but the logic, what type of bill it was, who the payer was, et cetera, et cetera. And we're able to tie what we call an issue code. So we take this type of mistake and we tag it with an issue code. And that issue code ties right into a benefit code on the payer side. And the dynamic part of this is every single claim that flows through our system runs through this intelligence engine. And that intelligence engine, that business intelligence engine, looks to see if that was ever duplicated. And it doesn't matter how long ago it found that type of mistake, it checks again. The reason is we learned years ago if an insurance company pays the same kind of claim in New York for a hospital as they do for a hospital in California, and they use the same system and the same benefit code, they're going to make the same mistake if the system's set up incorrectly. The difference being is payers are national. They go across the whole country. Hospitals and providers are local. So they don't talk. There's 6,500 plus hospitals across the United States, and the ones in New York don't talk to the ones in California. So if a mistake's being made in New York, even if that hospital catches it and changes it, doesn't necessarily mean that the software was changed, the benefit codes were changed on the payer side, and the mistake still may be happening in California with that system. So we track that and work with it. Because we're tying back to the benefit codes in the payer's software, it's very hard for them to walk away from that mistake, because that's what's called a systemic mistake. It means it goes over many hospitals, it goes over many claims, sometimes many years. What was a rounding error 5 years ago, maybe it was mispaid by $5 short. Today, grandfathered in 5 years later, that could be a $50 or $100 or $500 mistake, depending on what type of claim it was. So that's what happens. Mistakes get grandfathered in. Everybody assumes it's the correct thing to do, and they just do it. And that's really what we're good at catching. Our system with the issue codes tie right into the benefit codes of the payers. And that's the third data element we pull in. You have this 100% audit of all the claims going back 5 years. And when we go to pay the claims, in the payer system, there's something called a benefit code. The payer software, when it can identify a benefit code by CPT, revenue, diagnosis, type of bill, takes a bunch of that data, puts it together and says, okay, this is this benefit code. It can automatically adjudicate the claim. It can automatically cut a check without any human intervention at all. And thousands of claims are coming into that payer electronically constantly. So the system adjudicates usually around 80–90% of a payer's claims without a person actually really looking at them. So we load up all the contracts, take in all the 837s, which are the billing files. We bring in all the 835s, which are the payment files from the payers, and reconstruct the payment process as if we're all the payers that hospital or physician group works with. Going back 5 years. So every year contracts will change, and so it gets to be pretty massive of an undertaking to begin with. But it gives us a view that nobody in the industry has. 5 years worth of your history, your billing history, your payment history, and your contracts, all redone outside of your current system, completely independent, has nothing to do with your current systems or processes or anything. We reconstruct everything. It gives you a platform to really make better decisions. The first block of reports that we do are called contract value analysis, CVAs. And that is basically an analysis of the history of each and every contract that that payer had with that hospital or physician group. And it is a re-adjudication from the actual contract and then compared to what was actually paid. And if there's a difference, there has to be an explanation for that difference. And that's where we end up drilling down and figuring out what's going on.